In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. My dear child, there are two people around you who care for you in ways you may not fully understand yet. One of them is carrying something hidden, something that could change how you see everything. Do not leave this message early. Stay with me till the end, because the real meaning is unfolding slowly. Something important is coming closer to your life right now, even if you cannot see it clearly yet. Pay attention to every word. The first person thinks about you more often than you realize. At quiet moments, especially at night, your name comes into their thoughts like a silent prayer. Their care feels calm, steady, and familiar, like a place your heart has known for a long time. If there are two people in your life right now, you already feel the difference between them, even if you cannot explain it. The second person also feels drawn to you strongly, but their emotions are not fully open. Something inside them is locked away, something they are afraid to reveal. And this is where things begin to feel confusing. You sense two different energies around you. One feels peaceful and safe, like soft light. The other feels intense, uncertain, and sometimes even overwhelming. Don't ignore this feeling. Stay with me, because the truth becomes clearer as we go further. These two connections did not enter your life by accident. One feels honest and steady, showing care in simple and real ways. The other feels more complicated, full of unspoken words and emotions that are not fully expressed. You may have already noticed moments where your thoughts become heavy without reason, or your heart suddenly reacts before your mind understands why. This is not random. It is the emotional pull between clarity and confusion. One person brings comfort when they are near, even in silence. The other brings questions, making you wonder what is real and what is hidden. And yes, at times your intuition already whispers the truth, but you may still doubt it. Do not scroll away. Keep watching, because this is the part where understanding slowly begins to open. The one who truly cares for you shows it in calm actions, not loud words. The other struggles between feeling and fear, between truth and silence. And soon something will shift in how you see both of them, in a way you were not expecting at all. There is a moment coming where things will no longer stay hidden the same way. A small event, a simple conversation, or even a sudden message may reveal more than you were prepared for. Pay attention to actions, not just words. One person will make you feel emotionally safe, even when nothing is being said. The other may act differently when truth starts to surface, as if something inside them can no longer stay controlled. You may notice hesitation or changes in their usual behavior. Stay grounded during this time, because your emotions will be tested, but you will also gain clarity. The confusion you felt before will begin to settle, and you will start seeing the difference between attachment and real connection. One feels like peace returning to you. The other feels like a lesson you had to experience. And as this unfolds, your heart will slowly move toward what is real, without force, without pressure, just natural understanding. Keep staying with me till the end, because what comes next is about recognition, truth, and finally seeing things as they are, not as they seemed. There may be a moment soon when a message reaches you unexpectedly, or a quiet confession is spoken in a soft and careful way, or even a dream appears that feels so real it stays in your mind long after you wake up. And when that moment arrives, something inside you will finally release. You will breathe again without pressure in your chest. The confusion that once surrounded your thoughts will begin to dissolve slowly, like mist disappearing under morning light. Stay with this, do not rush ahead, because this is the shift you have been waiting for. You are standing between two emotional directions right now. One is slowly losing its grip on your heart, and the other is becoming clearer, stronger, and more stable. The fading energy taught you patience, awareness, and emotional strength. The growing energy is now showing you what real peace feels like, when it is not interrupted by fear or uncertainty. It shows you honesty without effort, connection without confusion, and love that does not hide behind silence or hesitation. Keep watching carefully, because what comes next will make everything clearer in a way you did not expect. What you are going through is not random at all. It feels like inner change happening step by step, even if you cannot fully explain it yet. One connection in your life carries calmness and softness, something that feels steady even in silence. The other connection carries intensity, mixed signals, and emotional weight that you cannot easily understand. And this is where your inner awareness starts to wake up more strongly. You begin noticing how your mood changes depending on who you interact with. One brings stillness to your mind, while the other brings questions that stay longer than they should. Do not scroll away, stay here, because this part is important. The one who is aligned with your peace does not create confusion in your spirit. Their presence feels natural, like something your heart already knows. The other feels more complex, as if something is always left unsaid. And soon something will happen that brings clarity without force. Something small that reveals more than words ever could. A moment is approaching where truth begins to surface in a very simple way. It may come through a short conversation, a sudden message, or a situation that unfolds naturally without planning. Pay attention to behavior more than words, because actions will begin to speak louder than anything else. One person will continue to make you feel safe and calm, even in silence. The other may begin to show small signs of discomfort, hesitation, or emotional distance when certain truths come closer to the surface. Stay steady during this time because emotions may rise and fall, but clarity is forming underneath everything. You will start to see the difference between emotional attachment and genuine connection. One feels like peace returning to your system, while the other feels like something you had to learn from. And as this unfolds, your heart will naturally move toward what feels honest and real, without pressure or confusion. Keep going, because the final understanding is very close now. And once it arrives, things will never feel the same again. So hold on and stay with me till the very end. The coming days are slowly arranging everything in a clear order. Truth will not stay hidden anymore. What was once unclear will start rising into the light, step by step, and what felt missing in your life will begin returning in ways you did not expect. Two people may have held space in your heart, but only one connection aligns with what is truly meant for you. Stay here. Do not leave early, because this is the part where clarity starts forming. When you finally understand it, everything will make sense in a calm and simple way. All this time, life was not trying to confuse you without reason. It was shaping your awareness, protecting your heart from what was not stable, and slowly guiding you toward what is real. And now, as things begin to settle, you will realize that true love does not need pressure or confusion. It simply feels steady, honest, and naturally peaceful. Keep watching, because what unfolds next will help you see everything from a completely different angle. There is a shift happening around you that you may already be sensing in small ways. One energy in your life feels calm, grounding, and emotionally safe, even when nothing is being said. The other feels heavier, uncertain, and often leaves you with questions that do not fully settle. This is where your inner awareness begins to grow stronger. You may notice how your emotions react differently depending on who is present in your life. One brings stillness to your mind, while the other brings emotional tension or overthinking. Do not scroll away, stay here, because this is important. The peaceful connection does not create confusion or emotional instability. It feels natural, like something your heart quietly recognizes. The other feels more complicated, as if something is always left unsaid or unfinished. And soon, life will show you a moment that makes this difference impossible to ignore, something simple yet deeply revealing. A turning point is approaching, where truth starts to reveal itself without force. It may come through a casual message, an unexpected conversation, or a situation that unfolds on its own. Focus more on actions than words, because actions will begin to show what has been hidden. One person will continue to bring comfort and emotional safety, even in silence. The other may begin to show hesitation, inconsistency, or emotional discomfort as clarity draws closer. Stay steady during this phase, because emotions may fluctuate, but understanding is forming underneath everything. You will begin to clearly separate emotional attachment from real connection. One will feel like peace returning to your heart, while the other will feel like something you had to experience to learn from. And as this becomes clearer, your heart will naturally move toward what feels honest and stable, without pressure or confusion. Keep going with this, because the final understanding is very close, and once it arrives, you will not see things the same way again. So stay with me until the very end, because what is coming in the next few days will slowly uncover everything in a clear and undeniable way. Truth will no longer stay hidden in the background. What was once unclear will start rising into full visibility, step by step, and what felt lost or missing in your life will begin returning in a way that feels meaningful and aligned. Two souls may have been close to your heart, but only one connection truly fits what your destiny is guiding you toward. Keep watching, do not leave early, because this is where clarity begins to take shape. When understanding finally arrives, it will not feel chaotic anymore. It will feel simple, calm, and strangely peaceful, as if everything is finally falling into place after a long silence. All this time, life was not trying to confuse you without purpose. It was shaping your awareness, protecting your emotional space, and slowly guiding you away from what was unstable or unclear. And now, as things begin to settle, you will start noticing a different kind of feeling growing inside you. One connection brings calm, safety, and emotional ease, even in silence. The other brings intensity, mixed signals, and thoughts that do not fully settle in your mind. Stay here, because this is where awareness deepens. You will begin to feel the difference more clearly, not through logic alone, but through how your body and heart react. One presence feels grounding, like peace returning to you after a long storm. The other feels uncertain, like something is always left unfinished or unspoken. And soon, life will present a moment that makes this difference impossible to ignore. A shift is already forming, and it will reveal itself through very simple situations. It could be a message that comes unexpectedly, a short conversation that feels different than usual, or even a silence that says more than words ever could. Pay close attention to behavior, not just speech, because truth begins to leak through actions first. One person will continue to bring comfort, calmness, and emotional steadiness, even when nothing is being said. The other may begin to show hesitation, inconsistency, or emotional distance as hidden things start to surface naturally. Stay grounded through this process, because your emotions may move up and down, but your understanding will grow stronger underneath it all. You will slowly see the difference between attachment that confuses you and connection that brings peace. One feels like clarity returning to your life, while the other feels like something you had to go through in order to grow. And as this becomes clearer, your heart will naturally lean toward what is real, without pressure, without force, and without confusion. So stay with me until the very end, because what is unfolding in the coming days will gradually bring everything into clarity. Nothing will remain hidden the same way it was before. What once felt uncertain will start to reveal its meaning step by step, and what felt missing in your emotional world will slowly find its way back in forms you did not expect. Two souls may have touched your heart, but only one aligns with the direction your life is truly moving toward. Do not leave early, because this is the stage where understanding begins to form in a deeper way. When the truth finally becomes visible, it will not feel chaotic or heavy anymore. It will feel calm, simple, and strangely peaceful, like your heart finally understands what your mind was struggling with for so long. All this time, life was not working against you. It was shaping your awareness, protecting your emotional balance, and quietly removing what was not meant to stay. And now, as things begin to settle, you will notice a shift inside yourself. One connection brings peace, softness, and emotional safety, even when there are no words being exchanged. The other brings confusion, emotional tension, and thoughts that keep returning without resolution. Stay with this moment, because this is where your awareness deepens. You are no longer just feeling emotions randomly. You are beginning to recognize patterns. One presence feels grounding, like your heart can finally rest. The other feels unstable, like something is always incomplete or unclear. And soon, a real-life moment will appear that makes this difference impossible to ignore. Something so simple that it carries deep meaning underneath it. A change is already building, and it will not arrive in a dramatic way, but through subtle situations that reveal truth naturally. It may come through a message that feels different from usual, a short interaction that carries unexpected energy, or even a pause in communication that says more than words ever could. Pay attention carefully to actions, not explanations, because truth always shows itself first through behavior. One person will continue to give you emotional calm, stability, and a sense of comfort even in silence. The other may begin to act differently as hidden emotions rise to the surface, showing hesitation, inconsistency, or emotional distance. Stay grounded through this phase, because your feelings may shift, but your clarity is becoming stronger underneath everything. You will begin to clearly understand the difference between emotional attachment and real emotional alignment. One will feel like peace returning to you after a long time, while the other will feel like a lesson that shaped your growth. And as this becomes clearer, your heart will naturally move toward what feels honest, stable, and real, without confusion or pressure. So stay with me until the very end, because what is unfolding in the coming days will not stay hidden anymore. Everything that felt confusing will slowly start making sense in a natural way. What once felt uncertain in your heart will begin to settle piece by piece, until you can finally see the full picture without forcing it. Two energies may have been present around you, but only one is truly aligned with the direction your life is moving toward now. Do not walk away from this moment too early, because this is where quiet understanding begins to rise. When truth arrives, it will not feel like chaos or pressure. It will feel light, simple, and peaceful, like your heart finally recognizing what it was trying to understand all along. All this time, nothing was truly random. Life was shaping your emotional awareness, protecting you from confusion that could have lasted longer, and gently pulling you away from anything that was not stable for your heart. And now, as things begin to settle, you may start noticing a very subtle inner shift. One connection in your life feels soft, calm, and emotionally steady, even when nothing is being said. The other feels uncertain, intense at times, and often leaves you with unanswered thoughts. Stay here for a moment, because this is where deeper awareness begins. You are no longer just reacting emotionally. You are beginning to observe and understand. One presence feels like safety, like your nervous system can finally relax. The other feels like emotional tension, like something is always left incomplete. And soon, life will create a simple moment that reveals this difference so clearly that you cannot unsee it again. A transition is already forming in your experiences, and it will not come in a loud or dramatic way. It will come quietly, through small moments that carry meaning. It could be a message that feels slightly different in tone, a conversation that shifts your perception, or even silence that speaks louder than words. Pay close attention to actions, not promises, because truth always shows itself through behavior first. One person will continue to bring emotional calm, stability, and a sense of grounded comfort, even in silence. The other may begin to show inconsistency, hesitation, or emotional distance as inner truths begin to surface naturally. Stay steady through this phase, because your emotions may move up and down, but your clarity is growing stronger underneath everything. You are beginning to see the difference between emotional attachment and real emotional alignment. One feels like peace returning to your life after a long struggle, while the other feels like something you experienced to learn and grow from. And as this understanding deepens, your heart will naturally move toward what feels honest, steady, and real, without confusion or pressure pulling you in different directions. So stay with me until the very end, because what is unfolding in the coming days is not something that will remain unclear for much longer. Everything that has felt confusing, mixed, or emotionally heavy will slowly start to arrange itself into meaning. What once felt uncertain in your heart will begin to settle naturally, step by step, until the full picture becomes easier to see without forcing it. Two different emotional influences may have been present around you, but only one is truly aligned with the direction your life is moving into now. Do not leave this too early, because this is the part where quiet truth begins to rise from within ordinary moments. When clarity finally arrives, it will not feel overwhelming or dramatic. It will feel light, simple, and peaceful, like your heart finally understanding something it has been trying to understand for a long time without words. All this time, nothing was happening without meaning. Life was shaping your emotional awareness in a very quiet way, protecting your heart from confusion that could have lasted longer than it needed to, and slowly removing what was not stable or genuine for your inner peace. And now, as things begin to settle, you may start noticing a deeper internal shift that is not loud, but very real. One connection in your life feels soft, calm, and emotionally steady, even in silence, even in distance. The other feels uncertain, intense at times, and often leaves you thinking more than feeling at peace. Stay with this awareness, because this is where emotional understanding begins to deepen. You are no longer just reacting to feelings. You are beginning to observe patterns clearly. One presence feels like emotional safety, like your nervous system can finally relax without explanation. The other feels like emotional tension, like your thoughts are always trying to solve something that remains incomplete. And soon, life will create a very simple but powerful moment that reveals this difference so clearly that you will never be able to ignore it again. A transition is already forming in your experiences, and it will not arrive in a loud or dramatic way. It will come gently, through small, almost ordinary situations that carry deeper meaning underneath. It could be a message that feels slightly different in tone than usual, a conversation where something unspoken becomes noticeable, or even silence that suddenly feels louder than words. Pay close attention to actions, not explanations, because truth always shows itself through behavior before anything else. One person will continue to bring emotional calm, stability, and a grounded sense of comfort, even without constant communication. The other may begin to show hesitation, inconsistency, or emotional distance as inner truth begins to surface naturally over time. Stay steady through this phase, because your emotions may rise and fall, but your clarity is becoming stronger beneath everything you are experiencing. You are beginning to clearly understand the difference between emotional attachment and emotional alignment. One feels like peace returning to your life after long emotional confusion, while the other feels like an experience that shaped your growth and awareness. And as this understanding deepens, your heart will naturally start moving toward what feels honest, steady, and real, without confusion, without pressure, and without emotional instability pulling you in different directions anymore.